my name's Hayley, welcome to my channel. I am on a journey to lose 100 pounds and to refresh my life after 40. In this video, I want to talk specifically about the weight loss element, how I got here, how I feel about myself, what I have tried before, and how I intend to move forward. I have notes, which I will keep referring to. So number one is how I got here. Why am I fat? Coffee. No, not coffee. I have spent a very long time trying to work on myself and figure out why I am the way that I am. I think there are two types of overweight people, roughly, broadly in two categories. The average person that has a change of lifestyle, changes jobs or, excuse me, moves house or something, and they are sat down more often, or the food that they eat has changed. And they notice it and they're like, oh, put a bit of weight on it, right, we'll change that, and then they're back to normal, and that's it. And the rest of us that have an emotional attachment to food and weight, and it goes back all the way, and therapy helps. I was a slim child, insert photo if I found one. It wasn't until I hit puberty that I started putting on a bit of weight. And I wasn't enormous, I was a chubby 12-year-old, which I would say is kind of normal. Putting on a bit of weight when your body is going through some major hormonal changes, but it was the 90s. And no hate to my mum, I think she was trying to do what she thought was best at the time, but I was introduced to diet culture even then. I remember the old Slimming World, the red and green days, and having Slimming World meals, which probably didn't fill me up. I remember feelings of unworthiness. There was a jacket in town, I can still visualise it right now, the exact shop that obviously doesn't exist. The place where the exact shop was, this exact jacket, which was some quilted bomber jacket, I think were all the rage at the time, in like metallic red or metallic blue or metallic green, I think. And I really wanted one, and I was told I could have one if I lost some weight because it would look better on me if I was smaller. This is where the damaging thought patterns start, really. And just diet culture in the 90s was awful, atrocious. Heroin chic. We're all supposed to look like Kate Moss and look like you're a heroin addict, which is really worrying. Alicia Silverstone, when she was in Batman, she was called fat. So this is where the dieting cycle started. And I was basically thinking about my weight, on a diet or not on the diet and gaining weight. I was never a level weight. It was dieting to lose or rebelling against the diet and then gaining. I remember I used to go without lunch when I was at school, which then developed into running out of the house with my breakfast and throwing it in the hedge bottom. So I was having no breakfast, no lunch, and a cheese sandwich with a small chocolate biscuit for my dinner. And that was it, that's all I ate for the entire day. The cheese sandwich on white bread and a penguin, a mint penguin. No, I remember they were mint penguins. And that was it, you know, and there was no encouragement to drink water either in those days, so I'm sure I was not very healthy. And probably didn't have the energy to do any sort of exercise or anything. And I lost weight because I wasn't eating enough. But my relationship with food was already damaged. And this is where I think a lot of people need to put their concentration and effort when they're older and they start to realise this, that because this has been going on so long in your life, you don't know when you're hungry because you don't understand your own hunger signals. You've been following diets that told you what to eat, what portions to eat, when to eat it, how to eat it, and you have completely lost this natural ability to understand what your body's saying to you. Your body is designed to ask for food when it needs energy, and every diet you have ever been on has slowly chipped away until you're in a state of panic, not knowing what to do at all. So the next blingy, oh, take this diet pill, buy this magic pen, join this club, do whatever, this will solve your problems. And it doesn't, because you're not addressing the root problem. Also worthy of a mention, I started experiencing perimenopause symptoms. Before I was 40, definitely, little things started to change. And I think what I would say, because I'm not going to go too much into that right now, if you already have a good relationship with food and a good relationship with your body, things like the perimenopause will affect you a lot less. I saw an advert on Facebook yesterday which kind of annoyed me, and I called it out as Japanese women don't have the menopause, and it was convoluted as adverts are, but basically you know, in general, Japanese people eat better than we do. It's whole natural foods, they're much more in tuned, I don't want to use the word spirituality, but to themselves, whether it's meditation, self-awareness, things like that. Whereas in the West, it's like, oh, this is going wrong, give me a pill, you know. Number 2, how I feel about myself. So as I turned 40, you know, obviously the diet alarm bell started ringing. Oh, please be quiet. Hello, around. Forgot what I was saying now. How I feel about myself. Number 2. It has really taken me, I think, these last 3 years to come to terms with some stuff and find a way to move forward. And accepting myself for who I am is a massive part of that. So even though I want to lose weight, I also have to be completely happy with myself and love myself as I am, which I know sounds like a contradiction, but for me, which I'll go into later, weight loss is a side effect to looking after yourself. Going on a diet to lose weight might work in the short term, it never works in the long term. This is science studies everywhere, okay? Diets fail. And for people like me that have this emotional bond attachment to food, and it has been decades in the making, learning to love yourself is sort of the key to being better, really. Proper self-care, accepting the lack of control you have around things that happen around you, traumas of big T's and small T's, and, you know, moving past them, and ultimately accepting, I'm really saying with conviction, that I don't hate myself. Which, if you've never felt like that about yourself, it probably sounds like a bit of a stupid thing to say. When you've been decades dieting and examining your body, body dysmorphia, isn't it? And hating yourself, hating the way that you look is exhausting. And ultimately, I think the key for me was knowing that I couldn't continue on the path that I was on. I just had to deal with it. It's like make or break time. I am a product of not having the correct tools to look after myself, the correct knowledge to look after myself as a human being. And you're living in a world that wants to sell you a quick fix. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. But it's our responsibility to get up and get out and get on with it, because nobody's coming to save you. Save me, save us. I want to improve my health and my well-being, and if I do those things correctly, weight loss will be a very pleasant side effect. I am bigger than I want to be. I'm uncomfortable physically. Aging and gravity and its effect on my knees are real. I'm very much for body positivity, but you know within yourself and your own body where you need to be to look after yourself. And I am trying to understand how I use food, because it is a usage of food, like an addict. And when you say you're addicted to food, it doesn't sound right. It's not the right words. But if you have an emotion that you don't know how to process or get rid of, and you end up having food to deal with that emotion, you're using food for something other than its intention. You should eat food for energy, to refuel your body. I eat because I have emotions I don't understand, don't really know are there, and through a combination of using food to deal with them, not being taught how to process emotions properly, I've ended up where I am. So number 3, what have I tried before? What haven't I tried before? Diets, all of them. I mean, I don't even know if it's necessary to list everything here, to be honest. But the big hitters, slimmingworld, weightwatchers, Atkins, when it was a thing, keto, when it was a thing, this shakes diet, that shakes diet, this bars diet, what's it called, intermittent fasting, on and on and on and on and on and on. Apart from anything like the banana diet, where I think you just eat bananas, which no, I've not done that. All the normally types of diets I have done more than once in the past 30 years in my dieting career. And even things like exercise and the way that I viewed exercise is damaging, because it became this enemy, this thing that I had to do, and I had to do a certain amount of it, and I was weak if I couldn't get up in the morning and do a spin class at 5 a.m, which that's never going to be me, quite frankly, never. And exercise became the enemy, and it doesn't have to be. I was massively into Zumba. I bloody loved that. This one teacher in the town where I lived, she probably thought I was a stalker, because I went to every class she did in every different gym in the town. Hi, it's me. And I loved it. And then Zumba all of a sudden wasn't popular anymore. And it was like, oh, okay. I was very, very slim at the time. My life was completely different. I didn't have a child. And I think the three things out of what I've done before is, with the exercise, it needs to be something that you enjoy, and it's about doing the thing that you enjoy. You're not doing exercise to lose weight. And I'm sure there are a million influencers out there that will, no pain, no gain. If you're not working your arse off and crying every day into your Cocoa Pops, then you're not trying hard enough. If that is your genuine personality, then please, you do you. It's not me. So focusing on moving my body in a way that I enjoy has been very successful. Unfortunately, when that style of fitness was taken away from me, I just kind of stopped. I did the Couch to 5K actually in COVID, and I loved that. I really did. I was running 5K 3 times a week. And I was, I think, 15 stone at the time. So I wasn't a small girl. And I did it in about, I think, 41 minutes. So it was more of a jog with high knees. But I didn't stop, and I was going. And I enjoyed it, which, But as soon as it started getting cold, I obviously didn't want to go out in the cold anymore, and I didn't like it. And then that was the end of that. The other 2 things, intuitive eating, this is the beginning, sort of like the crack of the door to where I want to get to. I bought a book, can't remember, it was green, it was off Amazon, and there was a workbook that accompanied it. I think it was written by 2 women, and it was really, really interesting. And I got about halfway through the workbook. I'm not very good at completing things, but attention span. It made a lot of sense, but it didn't go deep enough. It was, you just need to eat when you're hungry. I don't know when I'm hungry. I don't listen to my body anymore. This isn't a quick fix, And I think that's where I got fed up with it and ended up binning it off. But the intuitive eating was definitely the start of something. And something else I'm going to say, I might call this a separate video, to be honest, in defence of slimmingworld. I mean, slimmingworld's bloody awful, all right? And a lot of people take the piss out of it, and they make the same standard jokes. oh, and you can eat a whole bag of pasta and not put weight on. And it's like, well, that's not really what it says, but you know, cheap shot, take it. Out of every diet I have done, Slimming World was the only one that tried to take away this, eat this at this time, this is what you're allowed. It was more leaning towards the intuitive, are you full? But it's done completely wrongly and it's awful still. But out of everything I've ever done, Slimming World, bless them, and looking at intuitive eating have definitely been the best to move forward with. Which brings me to number 4, moving forward. I am never going to go on another diet ever again. I am never, ever, ever. Hayley, I promise you, we are never going to go on another diet ever again. You are never going to remove entire food groups from your life. You are not going to calorie count. Oh my God, calorie counting. And as someone who's a bit of a nerd and kind of likes data and spreadsheets and stuff, I didn't hate it, but it's not good when you reduce everything to calories. So I have got rid of my weighing scales, bathroom scales at home. I think I find them too triggering. The temptation to, oh, I feel a little bit slimmer today, let's get weighed. And then you're actually heavier. Weight, you know, water weight and all sorts of other things you can't take into account for. Moving my body in a way that I enjoy. I don't think it's going to be in this video. It might be in the self-care video I do next. But I went to my first clubbersize class Saturday just gone. I was a bit anxious before, but it was so much fun and it reminded me of when I used to do Zumba. Having fun, laughing, dancing, music, glow sticks. I'm all over that, but that will now be a staple. I also start another class this week. I have found something called BARRE, B-A-R-R-E, and it is the strengthening exercise routines that ballet dancers do before they ballet dance. Ballet, not belly. And I think I might quite like that, so I'm going to give that a go. I am going to continue to work on my mental health because that is where all this has come from. Challenging ideas that I have, working through bad thought patterns. I'm going to try and find more balance with food choices and develop a better relationship around food, not being scared of food, and trying to find ways to look after myself that don't involve food. So I'm looking at self-care, expanding my hobbies, holistic therapies. I do love a massage and a spa day. For the mental health and the process of all of this, I am taking part in a group program. It's called Rachael Foy, Soul-Fed Woman. I believe she's got a book coming out, she's got a website, she runs free classes and groups on Facebook that you can join. Working with her method of rewiring your weight, rewiring your brain is my premier focus, which I'll probably cover that in another video, to be honest. Anyway, that's about it. If you're here, thank you very much. I hope it may have been of interest to you. If not, never mind, because this is about me and what I'm doing, and I would love it if I can look back at these videos. Hayley, are you there? I hope you're looking back at this video in a year's time and you've got some of your shit sorted out, maybe, and you're in a much better place, because I love you very much. I'm not going to get upset and we can do this. Thank you very much. I shall see you on the next one. Bye.